Hi, I'm Alex Neiman, and I did my recommendation report on Wells Fargo, more specifically the scandal that they went through in 2016 and 2017. Now, before I get into the SWOT analysis, I first want to talk about the events that led to the scandal. It started with an incentive-based compensation system that was pushed onto lower-ranking employees and branch managers. The system was comprised of quotas for these employees to reach, but these quotas were soon to be found to be unobtainable and almost impossible to reach. This led to over 5,000 employees throughout the company to create fraudulent accounts that led to over $2.3 million in fraud. This also created an aggressive sales culture within the company and truly broke the trust between customers and employees with Wells Fargo. Now, the first strength and the obvious strength for Wells Fargo is their market share. They're currently in the top 3 when it comes to banks in market share. The other two that are ahead of them are Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase Bank. Bank of America at 10.7% of the market, JP Morgan at 10.4%, and Wells Fargo right behind at 10.3% of the market. The next strength is their management turnover. While this may seem like not a strength, in the situation with Wells Fargo where upper management was the root of the problem when it came to the scandal, turnover could be the best thing for the company. This includes a new appointment of CEO Charles Scharf, who is the ex-CEO of Visa. The last strength is their diversity of inclusion. This is an area Wells Fargo has excelled in the past couple of years. The U.S. workforce is comprised currently of 57% female workers, and also 43% ethnically or racially diverse within their workforce. And finally, 8,300 military veterans are currently employed with Wells Fargo. Now for weaknesses. One major weakness is their board of directors. Following the scandal, 6 of the 15 board members resigned. Also during the scandal, John Stumpf, the CEO at the time, was heavily scrutinized and criticized by the U.S. Senate. This included Senator Elizabeth Warren, who came after him for his lack of responsibility when it came to the scandal and how he pushed the responsibility down to the employees and said it was their fault for creating the fake accounts. This shows a lack of accountability in upper management and is something that has to be improved upon within the company. Your next weakness is their overall trust with their customers and employees. After the scandal, over 5,300 of their employees were fired. And on top of this, their overall performance saw a steep decline within each branch. This was shown by a 31% decrease in new checking accounts created, a 47% decrease in credit card applications, and a decrease of 14% when it came to employee and customer interactions within each branch in 2017. The next part of the SWOT analysis is the opportunities. One of the biggest opportunities that I see that Wells Fargo needs to capitalize is in their communities. In 2017, their employees racked up a total of 1,600,000 total volunteer hours within their communities. This is just second behind Bank of America, and these two companies are dominating the market currently when it comes to volunteer hours, as the other two close companies in JP Morgan Chase and Citibank don't even have half that many volunteer hours. The next opportunity is in developing their diverse suppliers. Now, these diverse suppliers mean smaller corporations and companies that can better suit their own needs. One of their major goals in their 2017 CSR report was that they wanted to allocate 15% of their yearly budget to diversifying their suppliers and developing a better relationship with their suppliers by 2020. By 2017, they were at 11.4% of their annual budget, down from 11.9% in 2016. This is an area that still needs a lot of improvement, and I think they should really focus on it all. Next is threats. An obvious threat for Wells Fargo is economic stress. This includes also the stress put on upper management by the stakeholders, by shareholders, when the economy starts to experience a downturn, as it is currently right now. This puts pressure on all of the banks, and this is partially what led to the recession in 2008, as businesses and those looking to buy new homes borrowed excessive amounts of money from the banks. Another major threat is employee communication. I find that this is the main area where the scandal took place, is the overall lack of communication between upper management and lower management, and also down to the employees. What I mean by lower management is the branch managers who are overseeing those lower ranking employees as well. I found that after 2017, upper management is trying to set up meetings and surveys and polls within the company to better understand the morale throughout the company and the culture throughout the company. I think that they need to continue to do this in the future and not forget about it in the years to come. Now for my recommendations. My first recommendation is the team building focus. When you're looking to rebuild a company from the inside, especially when you're looking to rebuild the culture, you want to be able to develop a sense of community within all the employees. This was also shown in 2015 before the scandal. There was a 50% increase in acceptance of team practices, meaning team building exercise within each branch that brought together all the employees. I think they should try to capitalize this and continue to try to do this and expand also into the next segment, which is local communities. I also find nonprofit initiatives to also have a big part in this when it comes to disaster relief, especially in places like California, who have seen hundreds of thousands of families' lives destroyed or relocated with recent wildfires that seem to come up routinely now every year. This is a great opportunity to work with local communities to build new houses, to change maybe their mortgage rates of some sort, and to look at their overall system when it comes to these communities and look to build a better relationship with their customers. And finally, the employee compensation system. After the scandal, new parameters were put into place for all banks, so something like this doesn't happen again. This puts all banks on a level playing field when it comes to developing a new compensation system. I believe a compensation system can work within a bank as long as it is done properly and is not too heavily based on the performance of the employees and doesn't affect their well-being and their job security. So in conclusion, I think what the biggest thing that Wells Fargo needs to do is get back to their roots and back to their vision of the company. Vision of the company is building a lifelong relationship with each customer one at a time. And I think this is the best way that they can rebuild the trust between their customers and their employees, and to set a new standard for how financial institutions should conduct themselves ethically and with their own shareholders. Thank you.